It is Food City Friday, and I got registered dietitian Kirby Moir joining me in the kitchen this morning. And Kirby, it's always good to see you.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. We always learn so much. I think you and I have some great conversations. I sometimes wish people could be privy to our conversations.
Behind the scenes?
Behind the scenes, yes, because we do have some great conversations about food. But today we're talking about having balance to your diet. I mean, having that plate that is completely balanced.
Yes, and it's National Nutrition Month all March. Right. And I'm not calling out anybody in older age demographics, but MyPlate, I know, was introduced in 2010, which means most adults, we missed out on having this. We had the My Pyramid growing up. So MyPlate really tries, to highlight to people the importance of emphasizing all food groups. And I think a lot of times people think dietitians, we don't have fun, we don't eat great things.
Right.
It's really more about adding more nutrition to your plate and finding that balance. So I wanted to kind of do some recipe remakes today to figure out how to get in more of those essential food groups.
And you know, we're talking about that balanced plate. There's some questions you got to ask yourself when you're talking about that. Can you afford these certain foods? Are certain foods available to you? There's some things you have to ask yourself when you're deciding on a diet for you and your family.
That's right. And a lot of times we talk about sustainability.
Right.
So we talk to people and they have great plans about changing their diet, but it doesn't align with how they like to eat, foods they enjoy.
Right. Preferences.
Yes, exactly. And so we figure out, that's the role of the dietitian, what's going to work for you.
Right.
And I'm going to kind of start down there with one of my favorite dishes. And it's interesting. I had somebody the other day say, well, I eat ramen at lunch, which I know isn't healthy.
Right.
Kind of setting themselves up before they admit it to me. And I'm like, well, we could make it healthier though. Right? We can add on to that.
I think every college student of a certain age, you know, going back several years now, has had those packets of ramen.
Yep, and of course it's known for being a little bit higher in sodium. The noodles themselves don't have a ton of fiber in them, so you could easily start with your classic ramen, or you could switch up for a better noodle that is rice-based and is gonna have more fiber, less salt. What we're gonna add here though is we're going to that MyPlate, so we know we have a grain from our noodle. We would want to try to infuse some flavor in there with less sodium, so adding some herbs like cilantro and lime. I actually featured a little bit of beef in there today.
Oh yeah.
Just a seared sirloin, and then you could either
lean cut. Yes,
fresh, frozen, or canned vegetable. You brought up a great point there about budget considerations. I used a fresh shortcut this morning, really quick and easy. You just saute that, and then adding in your noodles, adding in a little bit of that beef. You're going to infuse that flavor. You could also go more economical route with a canned vegetable, or focusing on a frozen as well.
Right.
So recognizing there, I took a basic, simple, pretty price efficient meal, and I've just built on a little bit of flavor by adding a few ingredients, and we notice again I'm hitting at least 3 of those food groups from that MyPlate.
And you know those ramen packets have that little seasoning pack in there, and it's important, you know, that it's wonderful tasting, don't get me wrong, but you can cut back on the sodium by just cutting that in half.
And you know what I did? I used half of it to cook my vegetables, and I actually didn't add it to the noodles, and then when I put that all in there together, you're still going to get that flavor. Yep, so we just cut the sodium in half there.
Cool.
And then if you're thinking about a salad, which is probably more driven to what you think the dietitian would be telling you to eat, something on here we can feature is adding fruit, at least 2 vegetable toppings, and then of course we're going to feature a dairy, and I did a crispy quinoa in there.
Ooh, okay, so give it a little crunch.
Yep, and then I think the cheese, that's that really, that nice umami flavor that comes out. So when you're thinking about your meals, especially at lunch and dinner, what can I add to the plate in terms of produce, specifically, because half that plate should be going to fruits and vegetables. And if you think to yourself, do I see a plant-based item on this plate? It doesn't mean cutting away from the potatoes or the red meat we enjoy. It means what else can I add on there to balance out? That's the message of MyPlate.
And I love everything you've got on this salad. And what kind of cheese did you use here?
I used a goat cheese crumble today, but blue cheese works great. Feta, mozzarella slice would work well, and it's all going to give us that calcium that we're looking for from the dairy group.
And I think some people shy away from goat cheese, but folks, I'm going to tell you, I'm a picky when it comes to cheese, but goat cheese is delicious. It really is.
It is awesome, and it's considered to be like a lower lactose option. So for people with lactose sensitivity, that is a great choice. And you'll find that in our fresh deli section with all of our specialty cheeses. So exploring new options there is great.
And you can also pick up one of those great rotisserie chickens. So they're shredded up, put it on there as well.
Look at that. We're making good meals today, Chris.
All right, very good. Hey, folks, it is Food City Friday. Everything you've seen here, they've got great recipes on this website. It is foodcity.com.
Are you looking